down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
All right, Savvy investors out there, this is Steve Van Kallenberg, and you just entered the Savvy Radio Show. First of all, I'm pretty excited because I don't know this next person. I don't know anything about our next guest. And the only reason why I asked him, because he is everywhere and anywhere. His name is Jimmy Ogle. He's with Homevestors. He's in Oklahoma City. He's only been a real estate investor for 2 years, and I have no idea about him. We were just chatting, and I'm like, so how long you been in real estate? And he said 2 years, and it just threw me off. So I just like, we'll stop right there, and we'll just no reason to repeat yourself. Welcome to on the Savvy Radio Show. Say hi.
Hello.
Oh, God, this is going to be a fun interview. All right, so what'd you do before real estate? And we'll start there. You were mentioning something.
I was a Fedex ground contractor for about 10 years. I'd built up where I had 10 routes with them, and it's basically kind of a franchise model type business.
Okay.
You keep up the appearance of FedEx, but all the trucks, were owned by me, and the guys driving them were employees of mine. And
you were delivering packages?
Yes.
You were subcontracting for FedEx, so You weren't even a FedEx employee?
Right. Most people never know that most of the FedEx trucks you see running around are all contracted.
Wow. I wonder why they do that.
Just more money. Less liability.
Well, the ideal job when I was younger, I'm a little older now, but to get a FedEx job was like the cream of the crop. It was better than UPS because you could tell they treat their employees better. You had better insurance, and they definitely paid more. But I guess that's corporate,
right?
Like regular behind the counter.
Yeah, you've got multiple branches of FedEx. If you see the purple and green trucks, those are the contracted, which is FedEx ground and home delivery.
Cool, and that's what you did.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into that business?
Just kind of tripped into it. My brother was a contractor also, and he just saw an ad in the paper one day, and he started doing that. I was still in high school at that time, and then when I got older and after college and stuff, he propositioned me to come work for him, and I drove for him for about 6 months, and then it's almost like real estate investing. You see, you get these guys making more money, and started buying in at the right time. When I started buying in, it was $25,000 a route, and when I decided to sell out, it was $110,000 a route.
Wow!
So just in at the right time.
What a great investment! So a $25,000 investment, and then how many routes did you have in there?
I had 10 at the end.
Wow! And you just kept growing. How long have you done this? What were you doing FedEx for?
It was when I sold out. It was about almost 9 years.
Man, congratulations. I'm excited. So let me get this straight. You already built a business that's cash flowing, making money. I mean, obviously you weren't doing 10 routes, were you?
No.
So you already knew how to hire people, how to get them rolling. And this is a question that I just sold a business. And this is a question that I got asked all the time. So I'm going to ask you this question. It's going to be awesome. Okay. And I love this. Is not even pre-canned. Why did you sell a business that is making you money?
It was a very stressful business. Every truck has to roll every day. Every package has to be delivered. So if you're shorthanded, you're jumping in a truck. So there were some days I'd go to work and get off by noon. Some days I'd go to work and,
not come home.
I'd leave before my kids woke up. I'd get home after they're in bed some days. So,
wow.
And what made me decide to sell it is we almost had to cancel our Disney World trip one year. And
you're like,
a week before we finally got to go, but I just made up my mind. My kids are starting to get a little older, sports and things like that. I was like, I'm not going to be that dad.
So let me get this straight. So, do you get penalized? I mean, you have to get a package out. Mm-hmm. Because FedEx is like anal, super duper anal. Like, if it has to be out. And, they have the best tracking system. They have everything is the best. They have these super duper planes. And then they're trusting you, the end user, to deliver this home package.
Yeah. And
I can see the mounting stress. Like, if you don't make that package, what happens?
Well, I mean, there's always going to be failures, here and there. But sure. If you start failing on a normal basis, they're going to pull your contract.
I can't even fathom the amount of stress because I see a FedEx truck several of them. There's a FedEx depot right here, right on the corner. So, Wow, that's a great story. You just entrepreneurial. Have you always been entrepreneurial? Is your family entrepreneurial?
Yeah, basically, growing up, my dad's been driving a semi since he was probably 18 years old, and they've always had, up and down with the oil field and things. They've had as many as 15 to 20 at one time, down to too, so they're always...
And they're always been self-employed.
Yeah.
So did you always know, even though you went to college, did you know you were going to be self-employed or a business owner?
I always kind of had that sense, just growing up around it, that was the norm, that,
That's how you provide.
Didn't work for someone, you
make money.
Provide it for yourself.
Cool. So, all right. So then you're in this business that's doing well, except for the pressures of the operational, and you're trying to get out of this kind of rat race. So then how in the world did you get into real estate? I mean, all of a sudden, did you do home investors first, or did you get into real estate first?
Well, actually, through my years at Fedex, I was always looking at how I've always had a passion for real estate, and just never was brave enough to take the step. I'd see houses and
for sale.
Yeah, for sale. And there's actually one in Crown Heights. We drove by it all the time, and my wife pretty much said no. And we'll drive by it now, and she's like, I wish I wouldn't have told you no on that. But
oh wow.
And then we actually had partnered with a guy when I was still at FedEx to try building houses, and we built one, and it just wasn't a good partnership. I ended up doing everything towards the end, and I had no knowledge, so I was learning everything and trying to figure it out. And come to find out, he had missed inspections, and they were almost, City of Edmond, they were pretty strict. They were almost wanting us to tear the brick off the house because we missed the inspection.
Oh, and man!
Luckily, it was the first house I ever built, and I was taking a lot of pictures, so I had pictures.
True,
but
good tip out there, investors: take pictures before, after, during. You just never know if you're going to need them. That's a good tip. I didn't even think of that.
And so after we built that house and sold it, we decided that partnership wasn't working, and I'd actually already bought a second lot and bought it for about $50,000 and was holding on to it. And then another builder in that neighborhood came up to me and had a custom home who wanted that lot, and I sold the lot for $80,000.
Nice.
So before I even knew what wholesaling was, I was wholesaling the lot.
Wow. So that was like a defining moment. You're like, wow, I just made $30,000 and I didn't do anything.
Basically.
Interesting. But you didn't want to build anyway, so you're like, thank God I'm out of this deal.
Right.
I love those stories. I bought an apartment building and I sold it, and people were like, wow, you're amazing. You flipped an apartment building. No, I'm not amazing. It was like luck, because I really thought I bought a good asset like that, 50,000. Right. You're going to build and make 100,000 on this house per se, and then you got out like a bandit.
Yeah.
So have you built ever since then?
No, we've just rehabs.
All right. So then how long did you do, so you've only been in real estate for 2 years, and I know you're killing it with home investors because I just see you everywhere and you're educating yourself. How did you fall into home investors, and why?
So there's another group of home investors, people here in Oklahoma City who they were contractors, previously too. And
like building contractors?
FedEx.
Really?
Yeah, and I had actually sold them a couple of routes back in the day. I used to flip FedEx routes, buy them in the country and then sell them, buy ones in town that were better routes and things like that.
That's awesome. And
anyways, they sold out. And we're fairly good friends, and they joined Home Investors, and they were doing it and doing pretty good at it. And they were the second franchise here in Oklahoma City, and I talking to them and looked into it and sold my FedEx routes, and I just jumped right in head first.
Wow. So what's it like? So how long you've been in Home Investors for, a year or 2 years?
2 years.
And you like it?
I love it.
I mean, there's a lot of, chatter about it. You got to pay money. Why are you spending money? You got to give a percentage of every deal. They kind of micromanage everything. That's what I've heard. I'm not trying to dog it. This is just, negativity. And I'm excited that you like it. I would like to know why you like it. And I know you're a recruiter now, tell us about that process, because I've actually ran into 2 other investors that are considering it. I don't want to say their names just in case they change, but I like the concept. I thought about doing it, but tell me more about Home Investors and what has it done for you?
Well, I mean, it's, a franchise, so you're coming in with, systems and standards already in place, a proven system,
And you've done this before with FedEx, so you knew you had the manual.
Right.
So you know recreating the wheel, you just follow this, make money.
Exactly. I'm the type of guy, you show me how to do something, I can do it. So, that was great with Home Investors. You go to a week training in Dallas, and, they basically show you how to do it and introduce you to, successful guys that are doing it, and just follow their lead. And, it's proven. We bought 30 houses in our first year. So
wow. And how many did you hold? And now, what was your agenda? Like, some people in Home Investors are to flip or to hold or for both, or?
So our end game is to build up, a big rental portfolio, but it all depends on the cash flow and how many we end up holding.
And those 30 that you buy, do you analyze each one and say, hey, I'm going to keep this one and try to sell it, or have you kept a couple and then a couple months later you sell them? Like, what's your strategies on that?
At first, it was all a lot of assignments, to
generate cash,
right? And then we started switching to really more rehabs. Everybody wants to rehab property, but that's where the biggest risk is also.
Yeah.
And so,
were you rehabbing, or are you flipping to rehabbers?
We did probably 7 or 8 rehabs
yourself. Wow.
And this year we've just decided we're going to go more towards the wholesale rather than putting more time in it. But starting out was assignments, and then we moved on to where we're doing rehabs, and we just kind of overworked ourselves. And now we've decided to just mainly do wholesales and do a couple rehabs. And
so what's the process? So the phone rings. I guess it goes through Homevestors first. Do they pre-qualify it for you, or does it go routed to you?
No, it's an automated system. So depending on how much you advertise, that's kind of the lead rotation to, there's different franchises in Oklahoma City. So
how many are there in Homevestors in Oklahoma City?
There is 6 at the moment.
So there's 6 individuals like you. Do you find that's a competition?
No, we all work together because our advertising dollars are pulled together.
But each one's in a different part of the city, like someone's in Norman, or
no, it's the whole Oklahoma City metro together.
Just the Oklahoma County.
No, Oklahoma, Cleveland, pretty much the whole metro area.
Okay. So then you guys share deals, or?
No, so it has a lead rotation, and it comes straight to your phone, and it's just the luck of the draw. So depending on,
you might get a house in Edmond that for $100,000 is worth $300,
right?
Or you might get an East Side crack house,
or you might get a wholesaler calling, saying, "Can I add you to your list?" But
oh no, it's by the number of calls.
Yeah, so it's all just a rotation. So
when I called you for this interview,
no, we don't advertise that number out to.
Okay, it's the 1-800 number.
Right, it's the 1-800 number.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I was like, dang, my bad. I saw it on your email on a deal,
yeah.
So I'm gonna call this guy,
yeah,
and get to know you. So that's cool. So then you get these deals, and then they're random. Mm-hmm. Okay, what kind of volume is it? I mean, can you handle it yourself? Do you have a staff?
I have a staff. Right out of the gate, I pretty much hired an office coordinator to work in the office, handle, I'm not organized, for one, to help me with the organization.
Most entrepreneurs aren't, so.
And plus, we own other businesses, so I'm very busy, and we got 3 young kids, so
okay,
we're busy.
So, okay, let's stop there, and we'll come back to Homevestors. So, you got 3 young kids. How old are they?
We got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old.
Man, that's like me. I'm 6'4" too. So, how about your wife? She was living pretty decent on the Fedex income,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
How was she when you transitioned to real estate full time? Is she supportive, go getter? Was she nervous? How did that go down?
She was worried, but she trusts me. I'm the numbers guy of the family, so she trusts me completely.
And now I think I've seen pictures of her on Facebook with her in a house or so, like a really beautiful house, and I think she's all in now. 2 years later.
Yeah, she does all the designing.
Okay.
She did when we built that house too. She's great at it. She designs everything.
Like an interior designer, or like the layout?
But the interior design.
Cool. The part that sells the deal, I think the most
right.
important, because I don't have that gift. I can lay it out, I understand it, but then I don't know how to dress it up.
Yeah,
I think isn't very important. But anyway, so she's all in. Does she stay home mom? I would assume 3 kids.
Yeah, she stays at home with the kids, and then she just fully devoted to helping out the church. She does a lot with the church, and then also she helps out with the businesses also.
Cool. All right, so back to Homevestors. So a deal comes with a little side note. So the deal comes in, and then you are in direct contact with the seller of the property.
Yes.
And now you do the work. So let's go through a call. Like, you just pre-qualify them, or so this Homevestors doesn't pre-qualify them at all.
No.
So you get this random call, and they could be extremely motivated, or they can be just tire kicking, just saying, I want full retail.
Yeah.
And so then this is where your training came in, and you decipher that.
Yeah, and kind of our thing is, we've got many exit strategies, so we can, handle a lot. So if we can set the appointment, we go on it and we make an offer. If they're willing to set an appointment with us, we go on it and we make an offer. and then it's up to them to decide if that's something that works for them or not.
Was it difficult at first just to walk on someone's property and lowball them?
Definitely. It's hard to get over that, knowing, that you're offering them a lot less. But, the people calling a true HomeVestors customer, is not going to care about the price. They are, they're needing help. They need out of the situation.
They're motivated.
Right. And kind of the thing with, it says we buy ugly houses, but kind of our motto is, we're helping people out of ugly opportunities.
Cool.
Or ugly situations.
All right. Wow. I'm excited. So what's your goals now? I mean, so now you're kind of more, you said you're more focused on assigning contracts right now?
No, wholesaling.
Wholesaling. Right. Which is assigning contracts in essence, right?
No, I mean, assignment is when you're basically selling the contract. Wholesale, you close on the property and then you sell it as is.
Okay. So what's the benefit to that? I mean, wholesaling, you don't have to pay for the closing. I mean, the assignment, you don't have to pay for the closing.
So, not saying we don't do assignments, but with wholesaling, if there's a lot of times, there's a lot of people out there buying houses. Wholesaling, once you own it, you can put it on the MLS. You can sell it for a lot more if you're willing to sit on it for a little bit.
Okay. So, all right. So it's just like a commodity.
Right.
You're just going to hold on to the market.
Right.
All right. Speaking of commodities and the market, I know just on Facebook this morning, I've seen a bunch of drama with the economy and so on and so forth. What's your vibe on that? Have you considered what's happening in the climate, especially in Oklahoma, with oil field jobs and oil people jobs losing? Has that affect you? Have you seen anything? And what's your take on that?
I don't know that we've seen much from it. On the retail side, it's kind of slowed down. We've got a few houses on the market, but, that's wintertime in Oklahoma. But, it doesn't scare us too much. We'll probably end up having to hold a lot more than we will be able to, retail them or wholesale them if the market goes down. But we're not too worried about it.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you would put it on the MLS. Or do you have a real estate license? How do you get stuff on the MLS now?
No, we do flat fee listings.
Okay, and it's just a pretty simple process. You just find it, and then how much does that cost?
I believe it's about $250, and then we offer 3% to whoever brings the buyer.
Cool. All right. Now, how about financing? How are you, since now you're going to close the assignment, is just so more attractive to me because I don't have to worry about funding the deal. How are you using banks, private money? How are you getting these deals closed?
We use local banks. Local banks are the best ones. The banks I like to work with are the ones where you can walk in and shake the hand of the guys making the decision. Yeah. Forget the big banks. It's all about your local banks.
Community banks.
Right.
My banker knows you. He spoke very highly of you, and that's kind of why I was interview you. So I thought that was really cool too. So, have you had the opportunity to use any private money, or have you needed to?
No, I haven't met any private money lenders. I mean, I would like to. I just haven't yet. And then we're working on getting a credit line set up too on our hold properties and things like that.
Okay. Man, so is there an ultimate number or units that you want to have, or like $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month cash flow? I mean, obviously you love Jesus because your wife serves the church, but I mean that's all gravy. I mean, I want to make money so I can give more to the church, but.
Right.
Is there a specific number?
I'd like to have at least 100 rentals.
Oh, good luck. That's what I have. It's murder.
Before I got in real estate, I was like, I want to have 15. And once you get started, you hear of all these guys that have a ton, and so it's really up to my goals.
This is your interview, but I'm going to tell you, man, I'm up to 100. It's not all sexy and glamorous. It is work. Is harder than I thought it would, and you don't really make as much more money. So, but if you get to this, whenever you get this is one thing I can give you advice, and it's unsolicited, but I need to say this. Each individual property, I was looking at the number, like, man, I was at 25, and then I got to 50, and then I was kind of like, okay, 50. I thought I'd be a millionaire rolling, money was flowing out like candy, and it wasn't. It just seemed like more and more AC units would go out. More roofs need to be done, more liability, more insurance, taxes. My tax bill was just bigger. Okay. Everything was just bigger. So, all right. Okay. So that when I got to 50, that wasn't the number that I needed. I was trying to get to a net of 5,000 a month. And that's kind of what a good number for me to start with. So then I pushed and I bought 37 houses in 2014, 14, and it's even worse than it was before. So now what my job is over here is to analyze every single property, and is it really cash flowing? As I look at across 100 of them, some of them I'm killing it, and some of them are paying for the other ones. And so if I can give you any advice, I think 100 is a great goal. I think it's a wonderful goal. And then they say apartments. I've been there, done that. Don't just focus on the cash flow. Focus on that one property out of that 100 or 10 or 1, whatever, that is a deal and it's cash flowing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then like a long-term play, like, cause like I bulked up just for cash flow, and I really bulked up for cash flow for short-term gain, so I can borrow more money from the bank. When you come in with this portfolio, it's usually easier if you come in with 2 houses. So when I got to this number, now I'm like cutting that number down and just being more efficient. So, I mean, obviously you know how to run a business and systems, and I can't even imagine trying to orchestrate 10 trucks and 10 routes and thousands of packages a day that have to be done by 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So I think you'll do extremely well in real estate. Obviously you have already, but it's exciting. So, it's a good goal to have 100, but what does that 100 bring you? Is it freedom? If you're worried about stress before, I have that now. You need to read a book called Life and Air. Have you heard of that book?
Mm-mm.
It's like, which is better, 100 units leveraged or 25 units paid off?
Right.
So, but when you start studying finance and start studying like growing it in a larger way, you just want to borrow more money and create more equity and create more and buy more deals, but then comes more responsibility. So I'm not trying to shoot it down, and I think it's a great goal, and I already know that you'll do it. I'm excited to see you grow. In only 2 years, you've been dominating. You've done 30 deals your first year. Mm-hmm. How many deals have you done? So that would, are you ending your second year, I guess? Kind of?
We are just a couple months from ending our second year. So total deals, I'm not sure how many total it would be.
But you made money.
Yes.
You're paying your bills.
Yeah.
And you don't have a boss. So that's awesome. All right. So what type of properties do you like to buy? I mean, you have this random Russian roulette phone service. But back to the question I asked earlier, how many leads are you getting? You got 6 guys buying billboards in Oklahoma City. I mean, I guess the purchase power has got to be in the $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month worth of billboards. I've seen them. I saw 3 in a row somewhere. I don't remember. I should have wrote it down.
Yeah.
How many leads are you getting or calls? Is it?
I am actually legally not able to share that since I'm a development agent. I represent home investors. The SEC, you can't make earnings claims and things like that.
Oh, okay. So it's a lot of calls.
But one of the other home investors franchise in the area that is not a development agent can share that with anyone.
Oh, I'm just fascinated. I mean, I'm trying to get you a sale out here,
yeah.
Recruiter. It's a lot. Okay, so. What do you do? What kind of property do you like to buy?
Really anything, we have multiple exit strategies, so we'll buy basically anywhere in the metro. Obviously, we prefer Northwest Oklahoma City or somewhere like that where, the retail market's a lot hotter. But, we'll buy anywhere. You can make money in the ghetto. You can make it in Edmond. I mean,
sure.
We're not impartial to buying anywhere.
Is there a spread that you like? Some wholesalers want to make $5,000, $10,000 a unit or a transaction. Do you guys look at it like that, like a business model? Like, I won't do that deal, or you'll do any deal even if it's $1,000?
Well, we have fees, home investors fees when we sell a house. That's how home investors makes their money. But so obviously we're looking at that,
in the equation,
right? So, but there's definitely a set number that we want to make on each deal.
What is that number? You can't disclose that either?
No, I can't. I can't share those numbers because I'm a development agent.
I'm going to skid it out of you. All right. So you obviously it's cleaner to wholesale and to assign contracts. You being a landlord, never been a landlord before. Tell me about experience of that.
Well, we put everything with a property management company. I don't want to deal with people's problems. I want to focus on buying houses.
Smart. Cool. So right out the gate, you just hire a property manager.
Right.
Man, that's a pretty savvy. What? Some of the guys did they teach you that at school? I mean, school and investor program.
No, I mean, it all depends on your personality. There's guys that manage their own. There's guys that don't. So, I mean, it just depends on your personality, what you want to deal with. And, I'm very much an introvert, and I don't want to be talking to people and dealing with their problems. So we just, right out of the gate, said property management's the way to go.
Okay, right on. Man, there's so many other questions. Oh, that's your phone. I don't know what that is. Some sound. All right. Have you read any books, and any books have impacted you in any way?
I'm not a big reader, but right now I am reading Grant Cardone, 10X Rule. So that's affected me. Setting your goals high, shoot high, and which goal would you rather come up short on, making $100,000 a year or $1 million a year? And so,
awesome. Man, I don't know. I'm lost for words. I can't think of anything else. Is there anything you want to say? What would you tell the rookies out there? Obviously, buy HomeVestors franchise is. What advice would you give someone that's in your position that was at FedEx, or someone that's working a corporate job? Is there any advice would you give that person?
Find someone to learn from. Not a guru or anything like that. Don't go spend. If you're going to spend $50,000, come talk to me and buy a franchise where you can learn. But
Sure.
Find someone that you can learn from, and just find a way that that will teach you. Don't just go out making offers when you don't know the numbers, because what happens is that person you make an offer on, they accept your offer, you go and you can't wholesale it, and then they call a guy like me who's serious and comes out there, and their expectations are set too high, and then I can't buy the house and they can't help them.
Right. So the ultimate advice is try to find someone. Do you meet regularly? Like, I guess with your HomeVestors organization, do you guys meet on a regular basis?
Yeah, we meet every month for lunch, and then every quarter we have ad council meetings.
And then you come to all the RIAs, right? I see you at the Millionaire Possibilities and connecting there. Have you got any deals that way?
No, I haven't. Met a lot of people that have bought a lot of houses from me.
Cool. Man, it's a great story, man. I'm so excited to catch you in just the beginning. I know the sky's the limit, and I can tell in your eyes that you are going to do well, whatever you decide to do. If it's a FedEx random to being in real estate, are you happy with this? Do you think you're going to stick with this for a long period of time, or have you had any other goals or dreams that you want to pursue?
I love it. Real estate's my passion. Businesses in general are my passion. We have 2 other businesses that we're a part of too, and I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show The Profit, but that would be my ideal thing, is just invest in businesses and help build those up too, as well as real estate. Yeah,
totally. I'm an entrepreneur as well. Man, it's been exciting. I hope, folks, readers out there, that you are encouraged, that you are in control of your destiny, whatever it may be. HomeVestors could hook you up and get you started in that plan. That may not be your plan, or just start out slow, buy 1 unit and just hold hands with somebody and grow. Can anyone get a hold of you? Is there a number or an email address? And maybe you can encourage someone or help them, or they may have a question, or they hate HomeVestors. They can call you directly. I'm trying to get you to laugh, Mr. Introvert.
Yeah, it's 405-463-0024. And the email would be jimmy.ogle@homevestors.com.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, folks, it's been a pleasure. Whatever you do every day, whenever you do, think about it, but try to do it. Go buy assets. Thanks for being on the show, Jimmy.
Investor Weekend is not far off, with over 10 information sessions to increase your portfolio. Log on to www.investorweekend.com. Whether you are a seasoned investor or never purchased a property before, you don't want to miss the Investor Weekend. Join us for a powerful, knowledge-packed weekend with over 10 informational sessions that are bound to enlarge your real estate investments. You will hear from the best national and local real estate investors that will share practical and relevant experiences with you, the investor. There will be several networking sessions to connect with other like-minded people for potential funding, partnerships, and yes, hot deals. Go to www.investorweekend.com. Did you know we meet once a month for the Landlord Lunch meeting? The 3rd Wednesday of every month. Go to landlordlunch.com.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter @LandlordBook and always be buying assets.